Okay, let's just go ahead. 1, 2. Thank you. You may be seated. Once again, I want to say welcome to this beautiful auditorium for our 60th anniversary lectures. And we want to begin today by introducing our dignitaries seated here. Yesterday was an exciting one, and today promises to be an adventure. I would like to first of all recognize the presence of the DCG in charge of finance and account. She's representing the acting CGI right now. DCG Dora Amahia. You're welcome, ma. Here in our midst is a former acting Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Rewan Bala Musa MNI. You're welcome, sir. We also have here in our midst I don't know how to describe him. He is my mentor, actually. Former Comptroller General of Nigerian Immigration Service, Muhammad Babandede, OFR. We also want to recognize here in our midst former Deputy Comptrollers General seated here. And first is Alhaji Suleiman Umar MNI. You're welcome, sir. We want to recognize again one of our grandmothers, if not great-grandmother, in this service, Mrs. Funke David Jones. Also here in our midst is Alhaji Abubakar Kuso MNI FCAI, former Deputy Comptroller General, retired, sorry. We also have another retired Deputy Comptroller General, Sir, Mr. Tony Okulubia. You're welcome, sir. I also want to salute here in our midst a Deputy Comptroller General retired, Ayotunde Gbenga Oredipe. High Chief. You're welcome, sir. High Chief Ayotunde Gbenga Oredipe. You're welcome, sir. We also have Sir Dr. Ifeadi Braska, Deputy Comptroller General retired. You're welcome, sir. Please also join me in welcoming here today Mrs. Funke Adeoyi, Deputy Comptroller General of Immigration retired. Last but not the least, we have, of course, Deputy Comptroller General retired Dominic Asugwa. You're welcome, sir. Okay. Okay. I've just been told the most senior of all the retired I've just been informed the most senior of all the Deputy Comptrollers General retired seated here has just arrived, and he is in person of Aliu Abdullahi OON. You're welcome, sir. I believe we still have more Deputy Comptrollers General retired here. We're still waiting for the names. I am still wondering how our amiable acting CGI was able to bring together all these masquerades. Because in my hometown, you don't bring masquerades out anyhow. When masquerades are on the street, ordinary men like us find their level. To be seated here with all these masquerades this morning is an honor. I want to thank you. We don't take your presence here for granted. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. John Saru Uibari, MNI, DCG retired, is also here in our midst. Please join me in welcoming him. Sir, you're welcome. I want to apologize. I introduced one of our retired DCG as an ACG. I didn't know. Very sorry about that. Retired DCG Tamprika Oyedeji. You're welcome, man. My apologies, man. My apologies. Sorry, we are trying to be very careful today not to introduce our guest here the way it was done yesterday. We want to follow order of seniority. We're trying to get it right there. Are we? Are we sure of this? Yeah, but I can't mention them until I'm through with ACGs. Can't they get me ACGs? Okay, I would like to recognize here in our midst this morning the president of IMOA, Barrister Mrs. Salamatu Auna. Please join me in welcoming the president of IMOA. We also have here in our midst Mrs. Zian Feng, MD Gemeldine Solution. Gemeldine Solutions. No. There are ACGs there that we have not introduced. Yes. We have not. Sorry? Announcing the arrival of the acting CGI. You're welcome, ma. We shall continue with the introduction of guests after the welcome address of the acting CGI. And as I said earlier, today will be an adventure. Those that were here yesterday, I'm sure, understand a little bit of Chinese by now. So I want to say again, chum 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 chum. Chum 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 chum. Today na today. Today, by the grace of God, shall even be better than yesterday. I would like to now invite for her opening address the acting CGI. You're welcome, ma'am.
The former CGIs or retired CGIs, retired Deputy Controller Generals, our visitors from Diplomatic Corps, friends, IMOA representatives, my colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for honoring our invite to this August occasion. So far, so good. You have made this a success already by your presence, your distinguished presence. We really are very grateful to you. Yesterday, we deliberated extensively on border security and our passport administration. A lot of useful recommendations were made, observations were made, and of course, we got the best of the best among our retired officers to address the issues at hand, and they did justice to that. And I can assure you today that if you have seen anything yesterday, today's own will be spectacular. we are calling on no one else, no one other than our retired Comptroller General, Mr. Mohammed Babandidi. Yes. The reforms he carried out, the works that he did, his innovations are as solid as they were in the days that he was here. He built on a very strong foundation, and he's the man like Nostradamus who saw tomorrow. The gentleman you are sitting here, that is sitting here before you today, has been a tool in the hand of God in molding my career. I am what I am today by the sheer grace of God and by his visionary leadership. I seize this opportunity, sir, to publicly acknowledge you and say thank you very much. My colleagues and officers, especially the people in the lower management cadre and the intermediate cadre, I want you to be all ears. I want you to be attentive. You will gain today, and I want you to ensure that whatever lessons you are able to learn here, you put them to use. If you are learning from a grandmaster, you are bound to succeed. Thank you. So, thank you once again. And thank you very much, Mr. Babandede. We welcome you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Acting CGI Caroline Urola Adepoju, PCC Daga, FSI. We will now move on straight to the business of the day. That's the first paper presentation. It is an honor to invite Mr. Reformed, a visionary leader, the man who introduced and personified hostmanship. Please join me in welcoming Muhammad Babandede, OFR.
No, sir. Would I for you to stand, sir? Muhammad Babandede was born on 21st November 1963 in Jigawa State. He currently holds a master's degree in law enforcement and criminal justice. He retired after 36 years of service to the Nigerian Immigration as the 16th Controller General of Immigration Service. He's the first Director, Investigation and Monitoring of NAPTIP. In 2015, Babandede was awarded the Member of the Order of Federal Republic, MFR, and his national honors was upgraded to Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic, OFR, in 2022. A resounding applause, please. Immediately after retirement, the King of Spain made him a knight with the award of Officer's Cross of the Order of Civil Merit in 2021. The achievements of the NIS under Babandede's stewardship are numerous, some of which include the establishment of the Migration Information and Data Analysis System, MIDAS, which was described by the IOM as the largest and most complex migration system in the world. The digitalization of the Visa on Arrival program, which improved the country's rating on the Global Ease of Doing Business Index, as a result of which the NIS was awarded with the Best Reform-Minded Government Agency of Nigeria. Instituting the paperless policy, making NIS operations greener and environmentally conscious. He was behind the infrastructure revolution in NIS. He entirely changed the landscape of NIS headquarters and commands. Worth mentioning is the ultra-modern technology building commissioned by the President. A very big round of applause, please. Babandede delivered over 14 different texts, including the NIS strategy 2016 to 2019, border management strategy 2019 to 2023, immigration regulation, immigration manual, Nigeria visa policy 2020, and the annual reports for each year from 2016 to 2021. Babandede is the founder and CEO of Shore for You Rescue and Resettlement Initiative, and he's the patron of many NGOs. He's a chairman and board member of many companies such as Aqua Group PLC, WeCheck Nigeria Limited, Eco Green Nigeria Limited, Mohasa Radio and Television. Mr. Babandede is married with 1 wife, 6 children, and 3 grandchildren. A big round of applause for you, sir. Welcome, sir. You can please sit down. Would like to call upon the...
I would like to be there.
Yes, sir.
I can go there?
Yes, sir. If you don't mind, sir.
Can somebody highlight the PowerPoint? Is there any PowerPoint? Because I presented a PowerPoint.
There will be one shortly, sir.
Hmm?
There will be one shortly, sir. Let me make sure that is done.
The PowerPoint should be on the board. But before then, let me thank the acting. And I pray you remove the acting in your name. Next, huh? Because Wura, you have done well. Since I left, we had opportunity to gather retired DCGs, CGs in different forums. Now you have started. I commend you for that. I didn't know what women can do. Even men can do. Yesterday's Abeshi, no, David said, Babandede, you have left many women behind the service. I said they have taken over already, so there is nothing you can do. So I thank you also, my seniors who are here. Some of them we grow under. I can see some of them are my colleagues. Some of them, actually, we have worked together as my DCGs or ACGs. So thank you for staying to hear from me. The most important, the officers, because we are gone. You are the one I'm talking to more, because we are history. I hope you can follow me and you can discuss these issues with me. Since I retired, when you pulled me out to make sure I've gone, I only returned day before yesterday. And it is Wura. And why is the projector in? The direction of the projector? Okay, okay, it has moved. Okay, thank you very much. Also, I want you to know that those organizing committee, those members of the organizing committee you set, they really want to retaliate because they set questions for me. I used to set questions for them. Now they set questions for me. They sent me 2 questions to choose one. During exam, sometimes I don't give choice. I say answer all. So I thank you very much for giving me a choice to answer one. I saw the other question. They said I should give history, achievement of NIS. I said, no, I cannot do that for many reasons, because I have many seniors. I'm the second last most senior, so I cannot give history. You can leave history to like Oga Arbi Musa. He's around. He's also a traditional ruler that can give you the history. So I couldn't give the history. I choose the simplest one, which is migration. You know, if you cannot answer the difficult one, you choose the simplest one. So thank you for giving me difficult question. And believe you me, you will not know you retire until one achieve. Who is this organizing? Is it an ACG? Oh, I see. I commend you for hard work. She directed me. Please, if you choose the topic you will choose, send it to the CSI email. No, I knew I have retired. And I obeyed. I sent the questions to CSI Nuhu to email. And even when I called Nuhu today, I said, Nuhu, I have sent the message. He said, I'm on my way to the bank. I said, thank you very much. So please, it's good to retire well. Anyway, I thank all of you for the love you showed me the day I came, especially the day before yesterday. And this shows that we need to work hard and retire when we are in service. We must retire when we are in service. What does it mean? Just do good work. So that when you retire, you will be appreciated. That's how it should be. My topic is challenges of migration and NIS effort. So if you look at this topic I choose, you look at the challenges of migration. What is NIS doing to tackle these challenges? And if you remember, those of you who are behind me, not big men like Oga Arbi Musa, Sogasule, Abdullahi, you know, I used to say of the word globalization. Can you remember that word? Globalization is my word. What does that mean? It means you need to act locally, but looking at global situation. That's how I'm going to look at this topic. What I mean is that we are a country in the world. The way we act locally is the way how it will contribute in shaping migration globally and in Nigeria. That's why I like the word globalization. It's my word. You won't find it in the dictionary, okay? Oh. Okay. Okay. My presentation, this is how my presentation will be. That's the flow. This light is, I don't know. My presentation flow will be like this. I want you to understand migration. I know there are professors of migration, but also I'm a professor of migration. So I want us to understand migration properly. I want us to see the global challenges, the dynamics, what is happening at migration globally. And we need to see NIS effort in the last 60 years. What has NIS been doing in the last 60 years to tackle migration? Also, how can NIS as a service assist in tackling, assisting, managing migration, not only in Nigeria but globally? I will make a general recommendation and conclusion. But I'd like to do it in a different way. I don't want to be like that professor who will mention all the problems for you. Before you wake up to hear the solution, you have already slept. So I will take each issue, raise the problems, and give recommendations. That's how I would work. And I hope you will follow me, okay? Migration is natural. I think that's why we are in Abuja. If not because of government work, we won't migrate to come to Abuja. Some of us will be in the village. Am I correct? Many people have been migrating even before Nigeria was created. People like me, when you ask me from where I am, they will say we came from the east. I don't know from the east. And most of you, yes. We came somewhere from the east. If you ask even ordinary animals, do you know that the animals, birds, migrate around? They migrate. We have birds coming from Europe. When they run away from winter, they come around. But when we want to run away, we go to winter. It's wonderful. That's wonderful. That's what we do. When the birds run away from winter, we go to the winter ourselves. We migrate for other reasons. So there is internal migration. That's not what we are going to talk to. There is external migration. So when you hear external migration, it means that you migrate to a different country or different continent or different area. As an immigration officer, I want you to look at mobility as an area. You can migrate from free zone movement, like ECOWAS is a zone. because it has free movement for its citizen. Schengen is a zone. You can move from Schengen area free zone to ECOWAS free zone. Although ECOWAS has no provision for third country national, but it's a free zone for our country. But when you hear the word immigration, it means you are leaving one country to another. You are a Nigerian, you decide to stay in South Africa. And from South Africa, you decide to move to Chad. What did you do? You immigrated. And these terms are necessary for you as experts, okay? Okay? Oh. I think I'm OC ICT, but I'm, okay, good. So, am I going right correctly? Yeah. Okay, then I'll be able to. Good. I also, there is return migration. What do you mean by return migration? When you move back, if you go back to America, there are some of us, what is the new name of movement out of the country? If you decide to do that and you go to London and you realize that wahala day for London and you return back, you have done what? Return migration. Circular migration, there are some people who moved and returned and come back. Like the Hausa people, they are very known for that. Seasonal migration. During rainy season, they stay at home. During dry season, they go and come back. But also people do it globally. They move and return regularly. It's called circular migration. Some of them are seasonal, okay? So what do we understand by the challenges or migration drivers? What are the factors of migration globally? What do you think are the factors? This is very key. There is increased disparity between socio-economic situation. If you see GS, I mean global south, you will hear many terminologies. Developing countries, I don't like the word. Developed countries, I call it global south and global north. There is disparity between global north and global south economically, and it's a big issue. Why do the birds move? They want a better location. Human beings move because of economic reasons, mostly, to find out a comfortable place. These are the factors. There is poverty which is unmanaged in many countries with environmental issues like desertification. There is increased insecurity, especially in the Sahel. If you observe what is happening in the Sahel, Africa south of Sahara, is disturbing. It's a very serious issue and should concern immigration officers because it will result to mobility. Niger crisis, Sudan crisis, Mali crisis will result to mobility down south. I think if we are looking at it as a strategic leaders, these are issues we should be looking at for us to plan and to take action. It is interesting for you to know that a statistic shows that over 200 million people are living in countries where they were not born. And I can see some here. People migrate, over 200 million. And out of it, they say 60% are living in developed global north. 40% are living in our countries. The developing global. I can see my good friend. He's here. He has migrated. He's living here. I don't want to mention his name, but he's here. I have my friends. He's from Scotland. He's living in Nigeria. He's moving in global south. Okay? Some have moved to stay in global north, but the percentage is 60-40. It means there are more people migrating to developed economies than in the global south. With this crisis in Sahel, you find that the majority of people will move to Nigeria. However much you close the border, people will move to Nigeria. We need to be very serious to note this because it will happen. 1 out of every 10 persons living in global north, in London, in France, in Germany, 1 out of every 10 persons is a migrant. And the disturbing thing is that 2/3 of the population growth rate. So it means if migration continues at that 2/3, what do you think will happen? They will take over the population. So that's why in the European countries, the Minister of Migration is as important as Minister of Petroleum in Nigeria. Why? Because population of migrant is gradually growing at a rate of 2.3, 2%, 2/3 of the population. That's very dangerous for them. What are the other challenges? Which is drivers. When there is money, we'll all move. We're all here because there is salary. If there is no salary 3 months, who has not paid you 3 months, we'll all go back home. Am I correct? People move because of money. And this money is big. In 2022, it is estimated that low and middle income countries, look at the words by World Bank, low and middle, we are part of low and middle income countries, but we are global south. They have gotten 626 billion from remittances. I think it's a very big money. Who knows the remittances of Nigeria this year? Where are the migration experts? Who has a number? CBN explained about large income from remittances last year, which means it is another source of money. So if it is a source of money, we must manage it well, and we are part of the managers of migration. We must manage well so the money can come in properly. There are continuous push factors are on the rise, and also pull factors. When I say push factors, what do you expect from Sudan? When two generals fight, drop bomb on each other, people must move. It's a push factor. And if you look at South Africa, south of the Sahara, it's very serious. If you see the number of crises coming up now, military rule in Niger, military rule is also a crisis. People will complain about it, people will be detained, people will move out of the country. Some people are advocating military rule is never a solution for us. You know, some pull factors are there. In Europe, the workforce is shrinking. If you have opportunity to go to Europe, I went to London recently and I did survey unofficially. The driver that will take you from airport to, not even the driver, even on arrival, the immigration officer that will stamp your passport, majority if you look at him is a migrant. Indian background or African background. All the people working in the airport, 90% migrant. The driver that will take you to the hotel, migrant. The hotel reception, migrant. The one who cleans the rooms, migrant. The one who cooks, migrant. So the number of migrants is increasing in Europe. But the population, their population is shrinking. Their workforce. So there is also the pull factor of high wages, they are there. But one of the factors that make migration more complicated is globalization. This is not globalization, but globalization. What do I mean? The world has become smaller. Last week, I had opportunity to go to Maiduguri. I followed somebody to go to Maiduguri and attend a wedding and come back the same day. Can you imagine if it were 100 years ago? How can you go to Maiduguri and come back? It's not possible. The world has become smaller. But getting smaller means negative and positive for migration. If it gets smaller, it means travel has become easy. You can move quickly. But also, it means it is also unnecessary. Because of globalization, you can make an order in London today. You don't need to go and buy your merchandise in China. In the last few years, you need to take a ticket to go to China. But now, you can do your business online. Am I correct? I'm glad to tell you that I consulted with a doctor online in the UK, my doctor. I just said, let's talk online, and I paid. So this means that globalization is an opportunity for movement. It's also bringing also a challenge for mobility, because the world is getting smaller. If it is smaller, you don't need to move. You can touch each other through the internet. This is very important. One of the greatest challenges that is going to affect migration in the next decade to come is artificial intelligence. I'm telling you, artificial intelligence will change everything in the world. We may not have to go to Europe to be drivers again, because there will be no driver. The cars will have no driver. We may not go to Europe to clean street, because machines will clean the street automatically. You just do a setting. In the morning, you will see street of London being cleaned by a machine. It will clean, pack everything, go and drop it. You don't need to. We don't need to go to London to serve food in the restaurant. You have seen it, isn't it? Robot can bring menu for you. You choose the menu. it will come and bring it to you and go back. No delays. So artificial intelligence is going to affect migration globally. So it will affect our money. It will affect them. A lot of issues will happen. I went to the media conference in Bonn last year because I tried to have a radio station. And what we had is that in the future, all the new casters, the new collectors, it will be robot. Yes, it will be robot that will do. So you don't need to go to Europe to report. Huh? Robot will do everything for you, and it will do it more perfectly. This definitely will affect migration globally. So let's look at NIS. You have seen the dynamics of migration globally. You have seen how factors affect migration globally. What are the efforts of NIS? How can NIS as a service, how can we make it better? But we'll look at what we have done before. That's why I said I will put it together so that things are easy. We'll look at our efforts. What Oga UK has done when he was acting. What Arbi Musa has done. What Oga Uday has done. What Oga Paradang has done in the last 60 years to make migration safer, better, and beneficiary. And also see what we can do to make it better, because we must do it better. When I say we should do it better, I'm not saying that we should do it better for Nigeria only, but for the world. I don't want you to remember my beginning. Don't think only Nigeria, think global. You know, whatever you do here, remember somebody will do it for your citizens in China, or in Niger, or in UK. So I want you to think global. Let's look at how we are shaping, how we shape migration through our duties and through our legislation. I look at the legal and institutional framework, control before entry, control on entry, control after entry, and travel document administration. This is my terms. Remember, my terms is that it's control. As immigration officer, our duty is to control. So the type of control we have done before entering Nigeria, the type of control we have done on entering Nigeria, the type of control we have done after entering Nigeria, and the type of control we have done by issuing travel document or administering travel document will determine the role we played in managing migration and how we are going to do to manage migration in the future. Okay? So let me take you through. The legal framework, you are aware already. These documents are available. All of them have spoken about migration management. Immigration Act, look at smuggling of migrant, this section. Look at deportation, repatriation in this section. The Immigration Regulation, Smuggling of Migrant Act, NAPTIP, National Visa Policy, Readmission, Code of Conduct we have, Circular and Direction. These are the issues that make us a legal person. You can't jump from the moon and regulate migration. You have to have the legal tool. Our legal tool are these instruments that give us capability to manage migration the way we have managed in the last 60 years and the way we are going to manage in the future. What have we done in terms of our efforts? I'm sorry. Okay. Legal framework, I said. Why? It's not moving further. Can you do it manually? Okay, now I have done it. Control before entry. What do I mean by control before entry? As immigration officer, you need to control people who will come to your territory before even they come to your territory. Am I correct? That is control before entry. If we don't control people who come to our territory before they come to our territory, we are not doing anything. That's why I call it control before entry. And that literally means visa regime. But it only affects those who require a visa. Am I correct? If a person wants to come from Ghana to Nigeria, you cannot control him through visa because he doesn't need visa. He will pick visa or he will get a stamp endorsement at the point of entry. But what can you do to control person before he enters? The best way is visa regime. What have we done in the next 60 years? I think we have done well. We have introduced or tackled many challenges of migration, starting from traveling, the transporter, sending countries, receiving countries. What I'm saying is that when you do a visa regime, you are assisting the traveler himself. If I need to go to Hong Kong, only for me to go to the Hong Kong border and say, you cannot enter. You are not assisting me. Am I correct? But if you give me a visa before I leave, you have controlled me. If you say don't go, you save me from wahala. So you are assisting. Visa regime assists the traveler. It assists the transporter. There are carrier liability acts in many countries. You carry somebody who is not admissible, you return him, or you pay penalties. So it also assists the transporter, the airline or whoever he is. It also assists the sending country. You don't want your national to spend your money to pay to airline and he will not get it back. It will also assist the receiving country. But we have tried as a country, as a service, in managing migration through visa. Remember, our visa was an ink stamp. How many, besides those who are here, down, how many of you have done visa stamp? Can you raise your hand? If you have stamp with a rubber stamp. Rubber stamp. You are old man now. In the olden days, when I was attaché, the visa we issued in Berlin, I was in Berlin, it was rubber stamp with ink. Boom, boom. You stamp. You know everybody can do it. But unfortunately, that was visa at that time. We improved it and moved into visa beginnet. The visa beginnet, it was been typed. It has serial number. Am I correct? It has security features. That's improvement. But now, we have moved to biometrics, which carries our features. It has your fingerprint. It has your name. It has your picture. So we have done well. Well done, NIS. From stamp, from an ink to visa beginnet to biometric visa. We are now having ability to issue biometric with the features. And this biometric has a lot of, it's not the time. I can take the whole lecture and issue on biometric visa because it has a lot of facilities. Biometric visa is also a great value addition. It has biometric visa, it has picture, it has data electronic forms. When you use the biometric visa properly, you can search and see how many times he has collected visa. You can see his background, his family, with which credit card he paid. If he paid with a stolen credit card, you can get a lot. So it has a lot of features, which is far, far above rubber stamp. Can you compare it with the rubber ink? No. So we have done well for that. Also, we have many missions that issues visas today. Unlike the olden days, when visas were issued by people we have a lot of diplomatic missions, which we issue visa ourselves. I think it's great. I met, when I was having a meeting with the head of immigrations, we initiated during my time, head of meetings of immigration in the West Africa, in ECOWAS. Only the immigration has attaches abroad. Some of them, they don't even issue the visa. So I think immigration is a wonderful agency. We should commend it. One of the ways we have worked is Advanced Passenger Information System, API. I will take time to explain this. You can control a person before he enters your territory through API. What does API mean? API means you get advanced information of a person who intends to come to your country through ticketing system. If a person buys a ticket, why do you think UK give Babandede 10-year visa? Well, they know I will be CG only for the next 2 years. Because they have what is called API. Anytime I buy ticket, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months to go to London, I buy ticket to go to Her Majesty's country or His Majesty's country. What do I say? They receive an alert that Babandede is coming in the next 3 months. That's API. Anytime you go to the airport and boarding pass is issued, they will know you have got a boarding pass. When the aircraft takes off, they have advanced passenger information system for the whole aircraft. They know the seat you are seated. So if they want to look for you, when the aircraft arrives, they will drive, they will say aircraft stop, they open the gate, seat number 2, please come. They will pick you. No need to be searching because of the advanced passenger information. This is a way how to control people. This is a way how to control before entry. And that's technology. I think it's the best way we can do it if we are serious. I initiated the program. We have gone far. I don't know how, but I know what we can do. It's key. Also, The visa system is a tool for national development, which is a form of control. Visa, look, this visa, Nigerian visa policy 2020, which you developed with me, which Mr. President launched in 2020, it's a visa that selects what Nigeria needs. During colonial time, our visa was based on colonial need. That's why you have aliens, isn't it? You have Commonwealth. We removed that. We said visa should select what Nigeria needs. If Nigeria needs a solar expert, you give him a visa straight. If a Nigeria needs a water engineer, give him. If you don't need a Chinese trader, don't give him. You want him to establish factory. So the NB policy is a control based on a strategy. It's a good document. I'm sure, Wura, you will take the document back, wash it, and start implementing it very well, because it's a way to do it very well. We develop it based on need. If Nigeria says, if the Nigerian universities want a lecturer who is an expert on nuclear science, we give him pre-residence. Don't go to the ministry and collect quota. CG will give that position, because it's an intellectual right. So the MB policy is a control. It filters, it attracts citizens based on national needs. Okay? So we have done well, as I said. We have improved the issues. Then, good. As I told you, each one I take, I will find the way forward so that we don't forget. Okay? Control before entry. What can we do to make it better in the future? We have done well. We have done biometric visa. We have moved far. What can we do to make it easier? I think we should implement Nigerian visa policy 2020. It's a document. I commend the officers that sat with us and implement it. If you implement it, you will see the value of Nigerian visa. Let me give you an example. MB 2020 says, if you are a Nigerian carrier, let's say the Nigerian Airways, which didn't fly, that one that came and left, let's say it is available. You will say, this aircraft coming from China, if you decide to board to take Nigerian Airways from China, you can take your visa at the point of entry. What do you see to our economy? Great airlines. People are doing it for the airlines. You can do it because the visa policy allows that. That visa policy allows Nigerians who are entitled to Nigerian citizenship to dual citizenship, but they cannot have it because they are citizens of India. If you take Indian nationality, you cannot have dual citizenship. If you take Chinese citizenship, you cannot have dual citizenship. It says, come and take your visa here. But how do you do? Let there be a registration in the embassy. Let there be a small form of ID to say that, look, once I was a Nigerian, I lost my citizenship. You will collect data of Nigerians who have lost nationality and they can pick their visa. It's very innovative. Please implement it if you want us to contribute to greater migration management in the future. Please use 20 Immigration Act and Immigration. I must commend Paradang for pushing the immigration regulation before he left. But we have done immigration regulation in 2017. It gives CG a lot of power. You can do that to make sure CG becomes a head of operation. The power is there. If you read it very well, the CG has enormous power. You can use it to make sure you further interests of Nigeria, not to further of politicians. Now, sorry, me too, I'm a politician now. So, but this is the way to do it. The manual is there. We developed a manual. Did you see the manual? There's manual. But I don't see officers make reference to Immigration Act, Immigration Regulation. When I see brief, I say, what did the Act say? You say, at the office, the man is saying illegally. I say, well, illegally based on which section? So start using, all of you, when you want to brief to your superiors, if there is an offense, if there is approval, if there is recommendation, if there is, mention the section. That's the way how you know the Act. Carry the Act, carry the regulation. It's the way forward. And this new Nigerian visa policy has given opportunity. You know, we are not in every mission. We are not in every diplomatic mission. But the new visa policy has given opportunity for us to control missions that we don't have officers. The new visa policy, do you know what it did? It allows us to have one global visa system so that when you check into immigration data website, you fill the form, you pay, and you are in Cambodia. No immigration attaché, no problem. The mission will print a stamp, which when you come to the border, visa can be given. It means we control visa through our e-system without necessarily sacrificing our job. Please make good use of it. You have the opportunity. Even the younger people behind who could be CG tomorrow. Okay? You didn't clap for yourself. You don't want to be CG tomorrow. Please implement advanced passenger information system. When we started quarreling with aviation, with the ministry. Ministry thought it's a business. This is not a business. This is security. It's not a business. It's a security. Advanced passenger information is like Hong Kong. The API information is 100% under immigration. Because you are talking about knowing people who will come to attend in advance. Who should know better than immigration? Nobody. We are not battling with any security officer. We are not battling with any businessman. No aviation is our tool. Please drive it, take it. We have argued on it. You can make a difference because if you have advanced information, you can go a long way. I want you to think big. Think of Eco Visa. Please, I know some of you are very scared, but I'm not the type who will get scared. All of us, how many of you have Schengen visa? Raise your hand. If you have Schengen, not big men what they have. You know, I'm talking about ASIs and above. We have Schengen visa. If I have a visa for Schengen, if I go to Germany, I can go to France. Am I correct? I can go to Spain because it's a free area. ECOWAS, we have free area for only our citizens, but we don't have free area for third country nationals. You may say, no, it's bad, but it's not bad. ECOWAS economy will jig better. If you go to Ghana, you realize you can pick the things in Nigeria. You just go and buy in Nigeria. We will benefit more because our industries will come up. With the way I see things are happening, probably our energy will come, industry will come. It means when you get visa for Ghana, you say, oh, I cannot get this in Ghana because it's a small place. Let me go to Nigeria. Eco visa is like a Schengen visa. It's an opportunity for third country nationals who apply for Nigerian visa and can go to Ghana, can go to Niger, can go to, if there is no coup, okay, can go to other places. And, okay, so please, let's go. Please, Controller General, Deputy Controller Generals around, we cannot make progress unless we keep professionalism behind us. If you speak as immigration officer, be a professional immigration officer. It is sad. I have received calls from embassies, from ambassadors. We have sent immigration officers who don't know any job. Some of them join immigration the same day. The next day they are attaches. And ambassador, I'm not saying it. Ambassador called me. I don't want to tell you the ambassador. Ambassador said, you are immigration attaché. I know better than you are immigration attaché. The one that is sent recently. So we cannot, when we have selfish interests, we cannot develop the service better. Please. Well, we have control before entering Nigeria. We saw what we have done in 60 years. We have seen what we can do to make it better. Now, the man is at the border. That is what we call it, control on entry. This means land, sea, and air. For your information, we are a border agency, for God's sake. We are not passport officers. Passport came later. I could remember I served as secretary to A.D. Mohammed when we took over passport. Our main duty, we are border officers, for God's sake. We are not passport issuing agency. So, if we manage the borders well, you will see the result we'll get in Nigeria. So, this is an issue I want you to look at very seriously. Control on entry. This is a meeting point of all persons coming to Nigeria. This is where, at the border, everybody, a Nigerian citizen, the one who has visa, and the one who doesn't have visa. This is where you meet. If you are a co-citizen, why do you meet? At the border, because you don't need visa. If you have visa on arrival, where do you meet? At the border. If you have visa, where do you meet? So this is where you have everybody. And this is where you need to invest your brain. You need to be skillful. You need to think well. The border management 2019-2023 is an important tool. We developed the tool through the, if you look at, some of you don't know, even know visa management 2020. We soft copy is there. That book gives a lot on how to manage border. How to even do border community relationship. How to handle migrant at the border. Community, please, this document is very important. It must expire 2023. I know what you do to update it. You can do it. You can update it. Air is mostly secured. You know that. Except the human factors. I am glad to say today our airports, the Midas is as good as you are in London. You should be proud of the Midas. Because, yes, in the olden days, you come to airport, somebody will look at your passport and be looking at it. Now you scan the passport, you take fingerprint, you take photograph. We are international at the airport. We are standard at the airport. Except for some human factors. I had some officers can even bypass Midas now. Madam, take note of that. Some officers, unless you stand on them, they can do wonders. Because Midas is meant to stop people. If you are in the suspect index or there is a bad document, it will stop. That officer will not continue clearance until the supervisor comes. But they can say, no, pass. We must supervise Midas. We must put cameras on the officers doing clearance so that we implement Midas very well. The EPAS system is good. I have written a lot about EPAS. EPAS is good. It's punishment, but we need to amend it. I sent many recommendations. But Contact is a very powerful agency of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Interior. You can never fight them. Nothing happened. EPAS is good, but how can you do aggregate? I don't like the aggregate in it. You know, where you say you have aggregate. I don't want EPAS where EPAS is only talking about money. If you overstay, you pay penalty. We can stop you from coming to Nigeria for some years. So please, we need, EPAS is good, but we need to look at it very clearly. We have done well. Land border, I think, is the weakest link. In the last 60 years we have been working, land border is the weakest link. Because entry and exit is mostly unchecked. To be honest with us, officers even collect money. They don't, even you come with a passport, they say, now you are below for land border. How can we do that? We begin to realize, before I left, I have caught some Americans, some British, some people going through the land border. Because why? They found it to be the weakest link. We need to invest and think. We have done well in control at the airport, but when it comes to land borders, I'm sorry to say, we don't need to give us ourselves a pass mark on that. Control on entry. What do we do to make it better? We have done well in 60 years, isn't it? In terms of control and entry, we have Midas at the airport, we have Midas in some land borders. But what can we do to make it better on entry? I said update the border management strategy 2019-2023. There are some checklists on the border management strategy. Establishment of this, installation of Midas, visa community relationship, all these issues. Mark them. The ones you have not done, move them to 2023 to 2020, like 3 years or 4, and develop new goals. Look for support from the international community. They will support you because you need to update that document and follow the document properly. I think this is a way forward for all of us. Expand Midas along land borders and also mobile. Midas, there is mobile Midas and can be linked with Interpol database mobile. It's a mobile Midas, which means officers on patrol, when you come across somebody, you can take the fingerprint. It will be in the system. If you meet him tomorrow, you put again, you will know it's the same guy you are meeting. You know? There are mobile Midas. And when you come back from patrol, you can upload at the station. Look for international support. Talk to government. We try to speak to government to give us more resources on Midas so that we can take mobile ones. It's very important. And upload into the database is very important. Also connect Interpol, law enforcement suspect index, advanced passenger information, visa, and facial recognition into border areas. let me tell you the beauty of what we have done. At the old Shagari building, I started testing facial recognition. If you come into Sheikh Shagari Hall, we take your photograph, video. If you come back tomorrow, we'll know. If you come back next tomorrow, we know. But if you do that at the border, you will see the wonders. If you link your suspect index, if you link facial recognition, if you link other people's suspect index, if you link advanced passenger information, if you link your visa, you issue a visa. Somebody tell you he's coming to Nigeria to visit his wife. They married online. He said, no problem, go and see her physically. But when he arrives, he shows you a letter of employment. But immediately he puts you see it, you see the contact between the information he gave at the airport, at the embassy. That's the beauty of providing connectivity. When you provide this connectivity at workplace, it's fantastic. If a person is wanted as a terrorist in the US, but he did the Baru and come around, you will get him at the border if you connect your Interpol database on the point of entry. It's very key if you want to succeed. Advanced passenger information is very important, because advanced passenger information will give you ability to decide. Let me give you an example. Mr. X applied for visa in France, and we realized that the Americans are looking for this guy because he was a wanted person on crime. But America has no good relationship with France. I'm just giving you an example. Then America, because we have a good relationship with America, said, no, allow him to come to Nigeria. You can hand him over to us in Nigeria. API will give you that opportunity. He hit the suspect index in France. Your superior called you, said, issue that visa. You don't need to answer, because there is superior thinking which you don't need to know. Issue that visa to Mr. X, even though the person hit suspect index. You prepare for the person. Immediately he arrives at the airport, he is picked and given to your technical partner, America. America will give you another person tomorrow if you want. That is how international cooperation works with the API. Okay? So make good use of it. It will work. Also, implement MIDAS secondary inspection. I don't know where we are. Whoever is the officer in charge of border, what we did, please do not fight DSS to say they should leave the station. Provide the equipment so that they can be happy to leave. What we did is that MIDAS, we've got space in all the airports. Before I left, in all the 4 international airports, we got a space. And what do we call it? Secondary inspection. Which means we have convinced DSS, you are a security people. You are undercover. Don't sit down to be seen by travelers. You don't need to. We are giving you a room where you can stay and see what is happening real time at the counter. This will make clearance additional 100% faster. And they will see us as a civil society, only immigration officers sitting at the counter. Blank. You put your fingerprint, we scan your picture, you hit the secondary inspection. That officer cannot continue clearance. It will show at the secondary inspection that somebody had hit suspect index. Do you know, before I left, you can see it in the technology building. I don't know now, you can see it in the technology building. So, if the supervisor sees that, he takes the officer raises his hand, you carry the suspect to the secondary inspection, where probably the person is wanted by DSS. We don't want to know. If DSS want him for any reason, we don't want to know. You are the one who give us. You take liability. That's why we started signing agreement, indemnity. If you want us to arrest police, Mr. X, we arrest, you take liability. So that immigration will not go to court. We arrest him, go to secondary inspection, do whatever you want. We don't want to know the reason, but we don't want you to be at the police to do the arrest. We want to do it ourselves. This is what is happening globally. It's not globally. At London airport, at Charles de Gaulle, did you see different people sitting in a counter? Only one person. In Germany, only one person, border policy. So this is the only way to do it, and can be achieved. Secondary inspection. You should try to develop a strategy of sending officers who speak common languages if you want to have effective control on entry. When you analyze an airport and you find that Chinese are coming regularly, put a Chinese speaking officer at that airport. All our land borders must have officers who speak French. Select them. put French speaking to the border so that they can talk. Even if the French speaking are not available, if it is Nigeria, Benin, they should speak the language. It means a lot. This is a strategy to make control on entry more effective in the future. Also, departures are very important because we have a feeling that departure doesn't make any difference to us. They say, he's going now, let him go. But we have obligation to assist the destination countries. Why do we allow a terrorist to get to London? We must help to assist to screen against terrorism to London. That's why you find people like pathfinders. If you go to airport, you find out different security agencies from many countries because they believe we are not trustworthy. Pathfinders, this security, the airport attaché. We must develop a deliberate policy to take care of departures. If somebody doesn't have a visa, why must he pay you money to allow him to board? It doesn't help. So this strategy is very important if we want to be respected and we can do better. We must open direct contact with other ports. ECOWAS must learn from Frontex. When we did the ECOWAS head of immigration meeting, one of our objectives was to establish direct contact between different heads. Like in Ghana, if an aircraft is leaving going to Ghana, the head of immigration in Murtala Mohammed Airport should be able to call his colleague in Accra and they should speak. Not even though we should learn from Frontex. Frontex is a border agency in Schengen area. They have common training, they have common interaction. That's why I decided to establish the training school. The strategic institution, I don't know whether it has been abandoned. I won't ask you. Why is it that place in Kebbi? Tuga. Well, I don't know Tuga whether it is abandoned or not, but that is the idea. It's not abandoned. Thank you. We must call, because if you have Tuga, we are the leaders of ECOWAS. We can do training. You can create that interaction. You can make a relationship between all the officers together under one roof. We train high-level officers there. Okay, are we together? We have entered. The person has left, has arrived at the air borders, land, sea. Now, what are we doing after the person has entered? I think it's a key issue. It's our job. It's not only our job to give visa. It's not our job only to be there at the border to clear the person, but our job to make sure the person comply with the entry requirement after the person enters Nigeria. I think this is the weakest link. You will admit with me that this is the weakest link of our job. Am I correct? Anybody who enters Nigeria, you think, hallelujah, shikadan, you will sleep because nobody will check him. It's the weakest point. SEPAC, which should be the major source of control for people who have visa, is expensive, it has less value, it is garbage in, garbage out. Let me tell you, when SEPAC fees, this SEPAC card, if you take SEPAC card, $2,000, you compare with the passport booklet. How much is passport booklet? 64 pages. Me, I've forgotten price. Huh? This means everybody is doing chua-chua. He doesn't know the correct price. Huh? What is the passport price? Official? 72,000. Okay, they remember now. Okay? So, which one has more value? SEPA card or passport in terms of document, if you are buying a document. Huh? Because our SEPA card doesn't open a border. Okay, we have Spiro officers around. I would like to welcome Oga Ude. Oga Ude, you are welcome, sir. I'll come. Sariki Abeshi is here. They are my Spiros. I have to announce their arrival. When they sit down, I'll continue. They are seated. They are seated. Sirs, we are talking about control on entry. I think this is key issue. After entry, and this is what happened. If we don't care for people who come and reside with us, even those who call Oibo, we charge them $2,000. Is it expensive? For God's sake, is it expensive? Is $2,000 expensive? People they don't care. They say it's not expensive. To me, it is expensive. You know why I tell you it is expensive? If another country decides to take retaliation and say, look, since you are charging my country $2,000, me too, I will charge you a national $2,000. you will know it is expensive then. When it was increased by the ministry, I wrote many memos against the increase. And one of the memos I wrote is that it will create fraud. And it is creating fraud. It is creating fraud because people will collect SEPAC for 10 companies and buy original 2. And dollar is a big money. We let's be sincere to ourselves. So it's a document that has less value. The worst is ECOWAS resident card. Are we printing it now? I don't know how it happened. No. The ECOWAS resident card is a story. Maybe a pocket money for controllers. But it's very important because you don't look at the money they give you, but you look at the type of people who will stay with you. We need to have e-control for ECOWAS residents. It's very important. The e-immigration registration is an important tool. Remember, when we had the Immigration Act 1963, they said we should only control aliens. Very funny guys. David is around, so I don't want to talk much because he's a British. So I don't want to. They said we should only control aliens. The rest we should not control. So you don't do registration for British citizens. You don't do any, you just allow them to Wakachuku. But we changed the issue because of the act and produced a migrant e-registration system. Mr. President launched the system here in headquarters during my time. Please, one of the best tools to control people after they have entered is the registration. It has a lot of values. A lot of values. It says when you arrive in Nigeria, you pass 90 days. Whether you are a visitor, whether you are a resident, you must register. It also charges the person who provides you accommodation, whether hotel or house. You know very well there is a non-Nigerian with you. You should tell him to register. If you don't, you will also be charged. How can we throw away a tool like this? It's the best form of control after entry. No? Because you do a lot of analysis and you see what is happening. I think it's an important issue. We should also, unfortunately, the only way we do control, we check a person. After you enter Nigeria, nobody cares what happened to you. But the way we depend is petitions written, sometimes by officers. Am I not correct? They will write the petition themselves because they don't like the guy. Or because he's given them job, the job has not come. No, now petition that he's saying illegally. This is the best way to do it. The e-migrant system will alert, will give you information for everybody who is not exempt from registration. And very sad issue. In our 60 years, this is a very big issue for me. As far as I'm concerned, issue of residency is a fraud because it's 90% handled by officers serving and retired. It's insider trading. Unfortunately, it's bad because if you do insider trading, there will be no good work. You can never have good work if you do insider trading. And when I was serving, I told them they should show me my company. I don't have company. Once you have company, you do work. You type for them. You get this. That is the end of the story. It's called insider trading. And you will never control something you take as your personal business. Except if we want to think after this slide, if there's a way we can engage retired officers to be involved. Otherwise, it's a big challenge. We cannot. You cannot be an immigration officer and to be an undertaker for another company. That's fraud, you know. The insider dealing has compromised effective migration management. In the next 60 years, I'm sorry to say, the insider dealings by immigration officers has compromised. It has even reached quota. Because, not even quota, it has reached even visa for another country. Because the ordinary Nigerian think that American visa can be gotten by Nigerian immigration officer staff. And they will collect the money. It's a big issue. We need to think on this if we want to progress. So as far as I'm concerned, we have done well in control after entry, but very dangerous to the security and economy of Nigeria if we don't do much. Because if people who stay with you, you don't control, you don't monitor, you don't know what they do, it's very dangerous now. How many people say they have producing what they are selling? So it's a big issue. So the way forward, the nature of the Nigerian map. If you look at England, because we are Anglo-Saxon, so I'm sorry to give an example with England. If you look at England, UK is an island, almost an island. So the investment of UK in immigration control is mostly at the airport. I want you to know that. UK invest more in their form of control at the airport because it's almost an island. Why should I worry about the sea? The airport is a key. They do a lot of control before entry for visa regime, but they do a lot of control at the port of entry. If you see the analysis of passport, Nigerian passport by UK immigration, you'll be shocked. I'm Chairman fellow, and I've seen how they have known the entrance, how they study people who moved, how they follow people in the airport to see what is happening. So control, as far as I'm concerned, if we want to make Nigeria great, we must tell government that Nigeria is a porous border. However much we try, we control the land border. We control here, people will enter. Give us resources to do effective monitoring after entry. Because it's a key. If you want to live peace, so that we don't have terrorists, we don't have economic saboteurs, we don't have many enemies in our midst whom we don't monitor. So investment for control after entry for me is key. So we need to argue. Also, for me, e-registration to be reactivated, it is more important for me than tools like Blatacom. Blatacom is registration in a hotel. You know, but e-migrant registration says everybody. Everybody. If you say 90 issued in the airport, we should make indication that, look, if you are coming, even in our endorsement, if you are saying over 90 days, ensure you register. Okay? We inform hotels. Anybody who stays after 90 days is your responsibility. Any foreigner you see with the cards staying after 90 days, you tell us. If you don't tell us, you have penalty. It is there in the regulation. You know? So please, this is key. Let's implement it so that we can get punishment. We should review SEPAC in terms of value, cost, usage, and data. Because the data of SEPAC is still not with us. It's not even used. Huh? I had now some people even produce SEPAC card without payment. They top the $2,000, they produce the card. Let us do it automated system. Let's share the data. That's why we developed the technology building. Let it be there. Okay? We should review EFAS. It is good for me, but it should not override law. Also, remove aggregate system in it. We should think of reciprocity in SEPAC and EPAS. We should be careful. When the US was very angry with our visa fee, we had battled a lot. I was there when we battled about American visa fees. We had to reduce our fees to their level and keep discussion. So be careful. So some countries don't take retaliatory action about our EPAS and about our SEPAC fee. We must think ahead of our citizens before we take action locally at home. Now I heard you have even added another one, expatriate tax. There is something expatriate tax, that expatriate pay another tax. So God save the Queen. Okay? I don't know what it is, but I've tried to check the record, the information, and it's good, but let's see what it is. And technology building is there to share and analyze data. I'm telling you, when people call me and say, oh, Babanded, you have tried, you have built technology building, it's very beautiful, I'm not happy. That technology building is not the beauty that is important, but the usage. It's a technology hub where data will be connected. We have server for our technical partners. Complete server is there. We have server for our own data. All of them will meet together, analyze, and be shared. That's the intention of technology building. It's not for, what is this thing that these days young people do? They snap themselves. Selfie. It's not for selfie. Huh? It's not for selfie. It is a technology hub, which we must make good use of it if we want to succeed. Well, one of the last is travel document administration. I heard yesterday you had a long discussion on travel document. Am I correct? You had discussion. As far as I'm concerned, we have done well in travel document because we traveled a long distance. We started from machine readable. I was an attaché in Germany when you just come around and say, I lost my passport. We just write another one and give you. We don't know whether you lost it. You have it somewhere. What do? We give it to you. We give it to you. We know the time when machine readable passport, people could have 50 passport. They could have 50 passport because there was no checking. So we thank God for good efforts of our leaders who introduced the e-passport. I think Oga Ude is here. They are the one who provide that leadership for e-passport. Because the e-passport takes your biometrics. It takes your fingerprint. It takes your picture. And the fingerprint is analyzed. It's the index for checking. You cannot have two fingers. You know, it is when we came on board, we increased, paradigm is not around when I was this year, but we increased from 2 fingers because Nigerians before, they would put the other fingers. It was index and this, they would put other fingers. We made it 10 fingers. But immigration has done well. Not only machine readable moved to e-passport, but we moved to enhance passport, which Mr. President launched in 2019. I am proud to say, if you're looking for passport globally, our passport enhanced passport is a Mercedes-Benz. It's one of the best passports in the world. High security features, unbeatable. Good pages, with options of a booklet size, linked to national identity. When we do the national identity, when I said we must make sure our e-passport is linked with NIN number, I had an editorial by a newspaper. They said it is a joke. But we did it. Not only we did it, others are following. So this document is one of the best documents. Go and check. Tax security cycle in the world is one of the best documents in the world. I'm not saying what you put inside is one of the best, but the document is best. You know, we have also produced a refugee passport. I'm sure you know it, some of you, because it's not common. But we launched a refugee passport when I was around, where this happened because of the Turkish national. We had many Turkish nationals who are facing a lot of challenges. Their passport were revoked. They invested here, so we were able to launch a passport called a refugee passport. It's only given as a refugee. We are proud as a country. It used to happen only in Europe, but now we have a refugee passport in immigration. We also have temporary passport. We realized that when I was in the office, one of the most vulnerable issues is emergency travel certificate. We collected a sample from 4 airports. All the airports, each day you will see 10, each mission that comes, it has different paper as emergency travel certificate. So why is the security in it? Which means a Nigerian citizen can commit crime and go to embassy and collect a paper and return to Nigeria. That's why we launched the temporary passport, one-way journey passport to Nigeria, which will be biometric, which will be linked to your biometric passport. And I don't know whether you have launched it or after I've gone. No. Please, if you don't, deploy it, because it's key. Why you can't deploy it, missions doesn't want it to be removed, because they will not get money. They collect a lot of money from ETC. But this temporary passport is like a passport. So it will go into government data. So if you want to make Nigeria richer, if you want to improve security, if you want to make immigration better, because even some officers in diplomatic mission, they don't want to give to immigration officers. They keep it themselves. Let's use this temporary passport, which we have launched effectively. I'm sure it is available. You can do it. We have increased, I think we have done well, as I said, in the quality of travel document. We have increased the pages and validity. It was 10 years, was a dream of diaspora. Am I correct? The diaspora were very angry with us. Why 5 years? No, we increased the pages. We also made it longer, 10 years. So many people are happy. You have 10 years, you have 64 pages, you stay long without seeing the face of an immigration officer. We have also connected Interpol I-247 to the lost and stolen passport database. I think this is very important. Before we left, this is very important. What does it mean? When we connected the lost and stolen passport to the Interpol database, I saw wonders. I saw big men who called me, say, Babandede, why did you embarrass me? In London, they say my passport, blah, blah, blah. I say, come. Take your fingerprint. See your passport. It is, you are the one who declared it lost. He said, no, it was one immigration officer who said, if I want to keep it, I should declare it lost. But the days are over now. Because it is, once your passport is reissued as lost, it automatically goes to the Interpol database of lost and stolen passport. And it's not only with us, it's global. You can't use it again. I think this is an achievement for NIS. because we have contributed to the national security. Well, the travel document, yesterday you discussed. I don't want to take much of your time because somebody will look at the clock and say I've spent only 10 minutes. I don't know, or I have 10 minutes remaining, but I'll try to rush and finish. Which is the way forward? To me, it's a big debate. Enhanced passport. For me, I believe to a booklet, not many centers. It's my view. During my stay, I have continued to argue with the ministry. Please, let us work towards more booklet than more centers. Because even if you have more centers, people capture it. You still don't have booklet, you have problem. That machine passport, Irish is here, has the capacity to produce the passport the same day. Whoever says our machine cannot produce passport is lying. It can produce, all the people, it can produce the same day. It can produce, but I'm glad to say something we have started looking for seed money. CBN fought us the best they could. They took our money elsewhere. We cannot get additional booklet because initially, when the forefathers started, Oga Ude's time, there were no diplomatic mission to open passport at the beginning. It was later that the diplomatic missions were open. Now they have reached almost 58 or 60 passport offices abroad. But this money we are collecting does not come back to us. It goes to CBN. And CBN believes that we are not doing anything. But the contract says the money should be used as, what do you call it? Revolving. It's a revolving money. It's not government money. It's the investors' money to be used, but you keep it permanently in dollar account. So why can't you have problem of scarcity? But I heard you are able now to get the seed money. So please buy booklets with it and make sure booklets. If booklets are available, you will surprise Nigerian. No need to wait for 3 weeks. I'm telling you, you can do it. Don't listen to what you saw my debate with the Minister of Interior when we met. Some of you were there. I said no. If they said other countries are doing 3 weeks, I said no, we shouldn't. We can do it more. Cancel payment of NIN verification. Before I left, I was shocked. I saw a proposal for Nigerians to pay for verification of NINs. I said they should not pay. I refuse to sign that agreement. You know the implication of this? NIN is a national asset. It's a national asset. Why should Nigerian pay to verify the national asset? It's wrong. I give you example. I give you example. If I have a driver license and I want to join a train, I go to train station to buy a ticket. When the ticket person to verify whether it is genuine, it is supposed to go and check the national database to sure it is correct. Will the ticket man ask me to give him money for verification? No. Why we are verification? We are verifying to make sure it is a correct data to the national data. People should not pay money. Contractors should lose money. For God's sake. I said 3 weeks waiting is too long. Fast track. Please, I am a believer of fast track. When I was appointed 2016, the first thing I did was to take permission from my minister to visit Her Majesty's Passport Office. I went to Her Majesty's Passport Office, but now His Majesty's Passport Office. What do I find? I found out that when you enter a passport office, there is a menu for you to pick, a menu. You want your passport quickly, this is the money you pay for quickly. It goes to government money. You want your passport to be in 3 weeks, normal time, no problem. You are a citizen, follow the normal time. So when the ministry put pressure, we should do fast tracking, I said, but we must do fast tracking in passport office. Otherwise, officers will do fast track and fast track the money in their pocket. That's what happened. So if there is going to be fast track, let it be available in the passport office. When you come, you are in a hurry. You don't need to ask whether you know retired Babandede. Because I'm tired. I said I don't want to come to immigration office. I don't want to disturb immigration officers. But passport office, I have to call once in a while. My neighbor, a minister, called me. What do I do? You know? Somebody is sick, dying. What do I do? You know? Because fast track is made for personal people to use to make money. Fast track should be an official system. People should pay to government and get it. That's simple. So I recommend a pass track should be in a passport office. When you come, do you want your passport today? This is the money you pay to government. You want it after 1 week, that is the time, or 3 weeks is the time. Please, let it be so. That's how transparency should be, if we want to be just to Nigerians. Also, reintroduce passport delivery to passport control officers. When I was around, I realized one of the best way to reduce corruption, is to give passport officers booklet at their destination. Because if passport officers come to collect booklet in headquarters, the chua-chua is too much.